Welcome to the Meredith Show. I'm super excited about today's powerhouse guest, and I know that you are going to be thrilled to hear her story, not only of overcoming adversity time and time again, but how she's making a huge impact helping her clients all over the world not only gain confidence, but find profit where they didn't even realize they had it in their company. So without further ado, Nikki Gianni was born and raised in Queens, New York. Thanks to Uncle Sam, she's lived in 10 states and she's currently living in Southern California as a new empty nester with her two new toy Aussie puppies. We love the puppies. She became a business and leadership coach to share her love of business and leading and help entrepreneurs reach their full potential quickly by providing them with the training and coaching they need to succeed with the decisive confidence every great CEO, as she calls them, Chief Everything Officer, needs on their journey. Prior to coaching, Nikki Gianni spent 25 years with the Department of Defense, and prior to coaching, she worked as an HR active duty member and civil servant. She was an award-winning executive and leader there for over 15 years, transforming organizations from zeros to heroes in record time, resulting in outstanding retention and amazing performance. Welcome, Nikki Gianni, to the Meredith Show. What a treat to have you. And I'd like to start out, if you wouldn't mind, as we always do on the Meredith Show, sharing not just your success, and we'll definitely share your passion for helping entrepreneurs today, but a little bit about what it took to get here. So, okay. Yes, and I call it finding the courage to shine, because many of us have overcome so much adversity, and you have a remarkable series of stories of overcoming, including something that you and I share, a tremendous amount of overcoming grief and loss. Losing your best friend and your daughter, overcoming domestic violence, just like me. First of all, amazing. And for those who might be battling with some of these things, what advice do you have for them?
Oh boy. Well, first of all, I feel for you, and it's not your fault, and you're not stupid for staying, and you're not stupid for trying to make it better. It's just human nature. And I don't think people really understand how it is. Well, I know they don't understand how it is to be in that situation until you're in it. And I don't wish that on anybody by any means, but until you're in it, you don't understand the situation and how complex it is and how hard it is to leave. When you're in love with this person and my situation was maybe a little bit different than the average, I guess, domestic violence situation, maybe, because me and my first husband, we had a great relationship up until my daughter was born, because she had cancer. She was born with a rare form of ovarian cancer. And he started drinking a lot. And he became very belligerent. And but he was not like that before. And we had a great relationship before. So to see him kind of morph into this person that I didn't know and didn't like, and that was mean, was difficult to deal with. And so, yeah, I mean, the best thing I can say is to hang in there and to do what's in your heart. And don't be afraid to tell people, though, because I didn't tell anybody for a long, long time. I didn't tell my parents, nobody. Because I didn't want them to be affected by it. And I didn't want them to be influenced by something that, what if it got better? I didn't want to ruin their view of him forever, So I was very lucky, though, because I had a job, a really good job. I was the breadwinner. So I was able to free myself of the situation, unlike a lot of other people who were held down by these people and not allowed to, prosper and work and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's the best thing I can say for that, because it's just so hard. It really is. I don't wish it on anybody, really. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah, and I want to say
For
to your
your
point, one of the things that really resonated with me that you shared that I remember like changing my perspective on is we have this stereotype of the kind of people who stay in a relationship that is abusive. And I used to make up stories that it was somebody who was, underprivileged or uneducated. And the truth is that these situations arise in all sorts of unexpected places and families and homes. And you have no idea what anybody is dealing with on a given day. So my level of compassion, and as you said, like my tendency to judge has just melted away. Because people didn't know I was showing up, just like I do today with a big smile. I used to have a radio show and my TV show was still active at the time. And I was just like running away from a very unsafe home and a sad situation. Similarly, my husband drank. I don't speak a lot about this publicly, but I think what's really beautiful is when you can say that you made it out to the other side. I know sadly, some people don't make it. Some people don't have the courage to decide that this wasn't the good thing. And then, for me, the thing that almost took me down a couple of years ago that you have experience with is loss, tremendous loss. So for anybody facing that or in the middle of it, what do you say to them?
Whatever is best for that person that you're that has some kind of situation going on, whether they're sick or, so my daughter passed from ovarian cancer, but our best friend passed by an accidental overdose at 33 years old. It was a fluke, and that hurt more almost because it was so unexpected, and that he was like such an important part of our lives. Like he was kind of like our rock, but both me and my husband, and to lose that person was really brutal. But I think what I used to make myself keep going was those people that passed weren't going to be happy with me if I was to be miserable, and if I was to, just not progress anymore. And I wanted to make them proud of me, and I wanted them to not have passed in vain. You know what I mean? And so I tried my very best to live every day like it was one of my last, and I really, it helped me deal with loss and with so many things. I was very young when this happened. I was only like 27, when I lost her and Jason. And but it made me, I don't know if it's more like, I almost feel like it's callous, but it's not. Like I'm much more like it doesn't bother me as much, death, because I know that they're going to be okay. And I watched my daughter suffer for months and months and months, and I didn't want her to suffer anymore. So I was glad that she got to go, and while it wasn't the case with Jason, but it was, so yeah, I mean, just remember what they would think, and that you have a beautiful life ahead of you still. And there's much more to life than just that one person that you lost, even though they're so important to you. And to just keep going, and to try not to get in your head. I mean, I know it sounds so silly, it's so simple, but it really is. I mean, I met this woman in a retreat, and she lost her husband, and she had this like this overwhelming sense of joy that she like had him in her life, and that he was free now from his illness, and she was free too of it. And so she wrote a book about this, like how her different perspective on grief and on loss. It was really refreshing to hear. So I would love to say that try and think of it as a beautiful thing, maybe, as opposed to a horrible thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but.
Well, I think that's unfortunately in the moment, some people don't have perspective, but for those of us who've had loss, I completely understand what you're saying. There's always a gift in the worst of times. And I think that's what I hear you saying more than anything. And, and as somebody was just saying to me this morning, I was talking about how much I miss my father, who was very close to me, who I lost in a rapid succession of deaths over the last couple of years. that they wouldn't want you to be sitting around moping,
No.
that they would want to see you. My father, we share this East Coast background. You can relate to this. He would say, snap out of it. I could just see him right now, like, come on.
Yeah. Like,
he's rooting for me.
Yeah, come on, wake up. There's so much life left to live,
Yeah. Well, with that, I have to say thank you again for your service. You have this remarkable, what I love about you, and I think it's always fun to jump in to talk about business, but people fall in love with you for your story, for the connections and the reality and the vulnerability that you see. So my show is a little different because we show up and share. You actually also had extraordinary health struggles and eventually overcame it, but you said 20 years of Hashimoto's. Tell me about that.
Oh, it was a living hell. I hated
Wow.
it. And it wasn't terrible all the time. So Hashimoto's is when your body attacks your thyroid, and you just get these two antibodies that are generated usually from pregnancy. So I got it after I had my daughter, and I just couldn't lose weight, and I couldn't see right, and I couldn't stand for more than 5 minutes, and I was just so messed up. And we figured out, okay, that it's your thyroid. But then we did some further testing when it wasn't getting better with medication that like it should have. And we figured out that I had Hashimoto's, and a lot of people have this disease, but it's just not as bad. So the best way I can describe it is it won't kill you, but it'll make your life a living hell.
Wow.
And so I don't know what's worse, but yeah, there was just nothing that they could really do except give you medication and hope for the best. At least that's what I thought. And about 10 years before, I said, can I take my thyroid out since my body's attacking it, And everybody's like, no, we don't do that for you. We don't do that for you guys. And I'm like, but why? And they're like, well, we just don't do that. I'm like, okay, that's a good answer. Like, just because I said so, right? And yeah, so I kept trucking along, and I was miserable. I was 80 pounds heavier than I am now. I was almost on the verge of, disability. I lost my marriage because of it, my second marriage, because I don't think I know he didn't believe that I was as sick as I was. He thought it was all in my head, and which was really weird. But yeah, so I was struggling through a divorce. I was really, really ill. I wasn't being able to work. And I thank God I met my friend Taj, who we dated for a little while when I lived in Utah. And that didn't work out, but we became best friends. And he's a surgeon. And I told him about my situation. And he's like, well, why don't you just get it removed? And I'm like, oh my God, did you just say that? And I said, nobody will do it for me. And he said, let me look into it and I'll get back to you. And he did some research, and he found a study that in Sweden, they took 100 Hashimoto's patients and they removed the thyroid, and like 90% of them got their life back.
Wow.
Yeah. So I found like the best thyroid doctor I could find, surgeon. Ironically, it was back in Tampa where I struggled the most physically. And I sent in my package and I waited. And then one day at 10:30 in the morning on Saturday, I got a phone call, and he's like, hey, Nikki, this is Dr. Clayman. What's going on? And I'm like, oh my God, this is like an awesome doctor. So I explained the situation to him, and he goes, yeah, I'll do it for you. Just get over here. And he did. And the next day, Meredith, I felt better.
Wow.
I'm in complete remission.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I just have to take thyroid medicine for the rest of my life, but that's fine. And the crazy thing is that I try to help people with this because there's like so many people struggling with this, and they can't really do much about it. And they tried all these different things, and it just doesn't work well. And because your body's being attacked constantly. And so I wanted to post this on Facebook, right? Like in this big, like 60,000 member group of Hashimoto's people, and tell them this great thing, and they didn't want to put it up. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, there's a lot of people that haven't had very much luck with that. And I'm like, yeah, but why wouldn't you just tell people and give them the information at least,
Option, yeah.
So strange. Well, I found out later on that the reason why people don't do well with it is because some surgeons, like, they leave parts of it behind. And so if there's little pieces left behind, then it's like it was never removed, because I mean, the thing is, going like this big. So yeah, that's the reason why, not because there's anything wrong with the process. It's just,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So
remarkable. I'm so glad I asked you this question, and we've been friends for a while and I did not know all of this. So what a gift you're giving to anybody watching who knows somebody suffering right now. Please share this. Yeah, please share this story, this message, and we're going to give Nikki's contact information out here in a moment. But I have to say, you found a lot of courage. And what I love about that story is you really didn't give up on yourself. I think depression can be, I'll just say, a witch. And many people who are not feeling well fall into that trap, and then they don't fight for it, is what I'm saying. So I just want to acknowledge, your courage, and that absolutely makes you someone who stands out and shines. That's the theme of our show. These moments of courage can literally change the rest of your life. In your case, the quality of your life.
Big time.
Remarkably improved. You're radiating and glowing there now in your California home, and I know it's a long way from where both of us started. So let's continue from there. You are now a coach. Tell us what lights you up about what you do and what makes you a little different. There are a million coaches out there, so who are you for? I would love to know that.
Well, I like to help small businesses find money in their businesses that they didn't know they had, and because we're all potentially sitting on gold mines, with our businesses. And, if we survive and get through it, so I realized that most people start their own businesses because they want to do whatever it is. They like doing whatever it is that they're selling, right? And usually they don't want to have a boss, right? But they don't have any clue about business and about business strategy, right? So if they make it through and they're trucking along and they get there, then it's like, okay, you did it, right? But can you imagine how much better off you would be if you had some strategy in your situation, So I found this, these actually people found me, my partner company, focus.com. They're awesome. They give me all these different pieces of support, like they give me the software program that I use for assessments. They give me my business suite. They give me training. And I've got about 800 or 900 other coaches that are like, at a moment's like Facebook message away. So if I don't know what to do, I've got all these people that can help me. So that's very unique, I think. And I just have a lot of experience with business. I was in acquisition for over 20 years with the Air Force and the Navy. And so I did lots of spending, lots of buying, lots of negotiating, and lots of working with small businesses, just in a different capacity, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I so respect entrepreneurs, Meredith, like brave people, because it is really scary.
It's about courage. Yeah, I'm with you. It's like, I always joke, like when people are just coming into it, it's like, buckle up your seatbelts and prepare for one hell of a ride.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't make it. They just like quit. They're like, okay, I'll just go get a regular job. And for those of us who stick to it and really, persevere and succeed, more power to you. I think it's fantastic. And I think you're a good influence on all of us. And I love that. I love working with people like that. It was very hard for me to leave the government because I loved the mission. I loved helping people, and excuse me if this offends anybody, but I liked killing bad guys, and in my indirect way of buying, major weapon systems and whatnot, because I don't like bad guys. And I wanted to figure out a way to
You're a hero, a lady hero.
In a very indirect way. I was behind the desk, but
we all do our part. So thank you.
Right. And it was great, thank you. And so I wanted to figure out something that I could do that would be helpful to people and not line some, like big giant corporations' pockets, right? And so working with small businesses is what I figured out to do, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, in addition to fun, you are very generous. I'm going to go ahead and share with all the viewers here. You can go to check out more about Nikki Gianni on her website. But I think what I love is you have this freebie that so many of us can use, especially in the business world, is called The Profit Playbook and 12 Winning Strategies for Unmatched Business Growth. That sounds pretty irresistible, that they can find also on your website. Tell us, as we're heading out, maybe one tip where people overlook profit time and time again, and make sure is the best way to reach you through your website. How can people reach out if they'd like to connect?
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to tell you two things. Don't discount. Don't do it, because you'll have to do double the work of revenue to make up for a 10% discount, and that's like nothing. 10%. Don't discount, and raise your prices because with inflation and costs, and that way is the best way to get profit right into your coffers right away.
I love it. It. And any parting wisdom for entrepreneur who's struggling out there? I would say don't go at it alone. Definitely worth contacting someone like you, because boy, did I struggle with that profit piece in the beginning. I'm 10 years in, and like you said, most of my friends who were with me didn't make it. And it's because it's a bumpy ride, lots of highs and lots of lows, right? So what do you say? What is your advice?
Yeah, keep your chin up, and before you decide to make the plunge, have a plan. Because I didn't really have a plan for when I did it, and I just did it kind of on a whim, and that was not the wisest thing to do.
There are a lot of lessons that were learned, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely. But yeah, like, plan it out as much as you can, but don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to do some things wrong, because it's always gonna happen. But you can reach me at NikkiGianni.com, NikkiGianni.com, and you can go to NikkiGianni.com/freebook, and you can download my Profit Playbook.
Love it. And we have that up for many people in the comments. If you don't see it, we'll put it there. If you want to message Nikki and you're seeing her not on television, which is where we wind up, but also on social media, please feel free to send her a message or me a message. I will be more than honored to connect you with this beautiful soul and powerhouse. And I have to say, thank you for having the courage to share your story with us on the Meredith Show. It's not easy to share the hard times, but again, I say it time and time again, it's the greatest connector that we have when we have the courage to show up exactly as we are. And we are the sum of our stories. So I really honor you. You are such a beautiful human, and I love your mission. And so many people out there need your help. Who doesn't need more profit out of their business? So please feel free to reach out to Nikki.
Contact me. I want to help you. And thank you so much, Meredith. You're a beautiful person, and you've helped me so much already with your guidance and help. And thank you so much for having me. It's been a great time.
Listen, forget about it. I'm here for you. That's my dad would say. We say, snap out of it, forget about it. But we're from the East Coast. She knows what I'm talking about. What a treasure. Thank you so much. And I know out there that you know somebody out there doing something amazing. So if you're watching, don't keep it to yourself, and don't keep this segment to yourself. Take a moment and share the segment and share the love. And we'd love to hear from you if you know somebody that we need to put out there into the world and has great courage, just like Nikki, to shine. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Have a great day. And we'll see you soon again here on the Meredith Show.